Good evening, folks. It is about 5:30 on Sunday, April, see now I'm going to look dumb, April 12th, 11th, I don't know. When you're in the pandemic, you tend to lose track of time. In any case, it's Sunday about 5:30. Welcome back to another session of Sqanning, 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 which I define as the incremental release of muscular tension for the purpose of inducing a deep state of physical and mental calm. That's it. The process of incremental release for the purpose of inducing a deep state of physical and mental calm. That's what we're going to be doing for the next half hour. So if you're like me and you've been having a kind of a crazy wound up day, worrying about what's going on in the state of the world or whatever other worries you have, if you're anything like me, you're looking forward to finding some calm in your body and your mind. And that's why I do this 2, hopefully 3 times a day. And I invite you to join me in this process. What you will notice is that I'm spending more and more time on what I call step 3, which is the period of silent, motionless observation. Because I think the true advantage of this technique is in tuning into yourself. It induces a heightened sense of awareness of your state of being. It allows you to tweak that state of being to release tension so that you can come to a calm, still place, which I believe is the essence of enlightenment, self-awareness, and inner peace. So you'll see me spending more and more time there. I will show you the technique which I use to get there. But hi, Cindy, how are you? I'm fine. Once you're there, I encourage you, as I will do, to sit in that place because that's the goal. That's what I call home. So again, I'm going to define the technique. It's called scanning, as in scanning your body, because what we're going to be doing is literally searching our body with our sense of awareness to find pockets of tension and incrementally releasing those pockets of tension. This in turn leads to an even deeper state of relaxation as your body begins to give into that process and completely relax. But we start incrementally. We gently coax the body into this deep state of relaxation. Gently coax, incremental. So let's get started. The way we do it is this. I want you to clasp your hands together. I have mine resting on armrests on the chair, so my hands are higher, but you can rest them in your lap. And you're going to gently grip your hands together. And because scanning is all about building a heightened awareness of the functions of your body, I want you to really concentrate and become as aware as you can of what it feels like to contract the muscles of your body. Just feel what it feels like. Contraction requires effort, concentration. Sometimes we stop breathing when we're contracted. I want you to make a note of that. I certainly did just now. And I want you to register exactly what that feels like, because on the count of 3, I'm going to ask you to completely release that tension. 3, 2, 1, release. And notice the changes that occurred when you released that contraction, that tension. And let that sense of release ricochet through your body. Let it pass from and reverberate from your hands and let it pass into your entire body as though you had dropped a pebble in a lake and you were watching the ripples move out. When you release, it's like dropping the pebble, and let that sense of release pass through your entire body. That's step 1. If you've never done this before, you just learned step 1 of 3 steps in this very simple process called scanning, the incremental release of muscular tension. So the muscles can only do 2 things: contract or release. Contract or release. So the simplicity of this technique is that we are just giving the muscles a simple command: contract, and then on my count, release. And the only thing you're adding to that is a heightened awareness. You're paying very close attention to that process, because I want you, after this is done, to be able to distinguish very clearly what it feels like to be contracted or to be expanded or released. Let's do it again. Grasp the hands together. Concentrate on what it feels like to exert that sort of contraction. That's what we do 90% of our day. On my count, you're going to completely release it and let that sense of release reverberate through your entire body. 3, 2, 1, release. Now, the reason I took such a deep breath is because when I let that release happen, I immediately feel an impulse to breathe. Because what I've done is I've signaled my body that we're relaxing now. And the body goes, oh, in that case, I have an opportunity to replenish the oxygen, which I've lost because I've basically been holding my breath all day because I've been so tense. So when you do that release, your body will pretty much always just go breathe, and you just do it. Follow that impulse. Get in tune with what your body needs. Deep breath. Release. And that's step 2. The contraction and release is step 1. The deep breath and exhalation is step 2. Step 3 is to sit. And this is the most important one. Sit in silence and complete stillness and pay absolute focused attention to what you're experiencing in your body as a result of that release of tension. What has changed? What's different now after you took action on an incremental release of tension? You released an incremental amount of tension. How do you feel different now? Pay attention. You've started down the road toward complete and total relaxation. Note, mentally, physically, how that feels. Pay attention to the beating of your heart. Feel the blood coursing more openly and freely through your body. Feel a slight throbbing sensation in your face, your limbs, your back, your feet. Now we've only done it twice or 3 times, and note, this is important to note how it's changed how your body feels. Again, that is 90% of this technique, is paying attention to the changes in your body. Let's do it again. Grasping the hands together, pay close attention to what it feels like to contract the muscles of your hands. Your hands are serving as a guide. They are a metaphor for your entire body. And through the release of tension in your hands, you're going to be able to release the tension in the rest of your body. 3, 2, 1, release. Follow the impulse to take a deep breath. Exhale. Step 3, stillness, quiet, observation. What has changed? 15 seconds. Deep breath. And in that stillness, in that quiet, as you begin to literally experience yourself in a deeper way than you have perhaps the entire day, as you indulge that feeling, as you re-enter yourself, you feel the essence of yourself, not having anywhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to think, nothing to say, just being. You're what I call home. This is where it all starts. This is where it all ends. You are within your own skin, feeling the beating of your heart, the coursing of your blood, the stillness, the quiet, the calm, and the released, relaxed muscles that are you at your most basic. And it's an odd feeling for a lot of people, including myself. Why? Why can't we just sit still and experience ourselves? Well, why do we feel a sense of fear when we begin to start this process? Because we're having to let go of all the things we hold on to, which we think define us and make us feel alive and good and well and satisfied. We're letting go of all that. We're just going to be. And yet, if you can pass over into that zone of just being, that's where the real peace is. Because you're not dependent on anything. You're taking deep satisfaction in just existing. And that removes all pressure. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to do anything. You can just be. But you have to give yourself permission. And that's the tricky part. I like to say that we have a toolkit in life. And that toolkit is all the processes that we become used to utilizing to feel alive, to feel safe, to feel successful in life. And they're all active, and they usually involve effort. So this is a new tool, which I'm encouraging you to add to your toolbox, which takes you to a place of nothingness, and instinctively it feels wrong, dangerous, and illogical. Don't we need to be doing something? Don't we need to be working on something? Don't we need to be thinking about something? Don't we need to be making an effort to be successful, to feel alive, to feel satisfied with ourselves? No, we don't have to do any of that. That's what this tool teaches you. And it's very calming because it lets you know that you can relax. It's all okay. Without your doing, thinking, anything. That's why step 3 in this process is the most important, because that's the place we want to get to. That's where we completely relax. That's where we feel completely calm and still. So let's start again. Clasp the hands together. Experience that contraction of the muscles, what that feels like, how it takes effort, how you maybe stop breathing a little bit, how it takes concentration. And on my count, you're going to completely release all of that tension, all of that gripping, all of that contraction, and let that sense of release pass through your entire body. 3, 2, 1, release. Deep breath. 15 seconds of still observation. Another deep breath. And as you exhale, you're transporting even more tension out of your body. And now 30 seconds of stillness, of quiet, of just being. Deep breath. The muscles tense in anticipation of a demand. The muscles tense in the body, the mind contracts, and by that I say we form thoughts and worries and concerns in anticipation of some demand. We're getting ready, we're preparing. We may not need to be getting ready for anything. It may not, whatever we're worried about, be happening until 2 days from now, or at all. It may be all in our imagination. And yet, because we're humans and we have the ability to think into the future and think back into the past, we fret, we worry about things over which we have absolutely no control. But the body follows the mind sometimes, and it thinks we're getting ready to deal with something. I better tense up. So through this process of incremental release, you're working in reverse. You're using the body to quiet the mind. You're getting to a place where you're completely conscious of your sense of release, and you come to a place where there is no demand. There's nothing you need to do. There's nowhere you need to go. There's no thought you need to think. You can just be. And then the body, sensing safety, will release and let go of all tension. And by association, so will your mind. So this process is about encouraging you to understand, study, reintroduce the feeling of relaxation back into your consciousness so that you can call upon that sensation more easily, more readily, and calm yourself and find that balance in your life, the balance between contraction and release. And that's all life is. There's a book I base a lot of my ideas on. It's a book called The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment by Thaddeus Golas. I highly recommend you check it out. Very short, easy to read book. And his whole theory is that all the universe, the entire universe, is nothing but a series of contractions or expansions. And depending on where you are in that alternating of expansion and contraction will determine your state of being. And we need contraction. Life, the materials that make up life, our clothing, our bodies, our jobs, are all contractions. They're an assemblage of sorts of ideas and elements and concepts, and these are contractions. If you stop contracting, everything just disintegrates and falls apart. So your life needs to be a balance between contraction and expansion. If we get too contracted, we become too dense, and we can't We can't open ourselves to anything, but if we expand, we can merge and successfully navigate life. So this is a process of balancing your life by reacquainting yourself with the process of expansion, release, relaxation. It's essential for our well-being and happiness. Here we go again. Clasping the hands together, this is contraction. Experience as vividly as you can what that feels like. Pay very close attention to what that does, that gripping does to your heart, your emotions, your face, your body. And on my count, you're going to completely release it and let that sense of release reverberate through your entire body. 3, 2, 1, release. Now you're in the opposite. You're expanded. Take a deep breath. Now 30 seconds of just paying very close attention to what that feels like. Deep breath. Now I'll tell you what I feel, because I'm taking myself through this process with you, and you can see if it resonates for you. I begin to forget where I am. I begin to forget what time it is. I begin to forget why I was holding on to tension. And it feels really good. And as your body begins to recognize that that's the road we're headed down, it will start to take over. Let it. Let that sense of relaxation expand in your body. And you can even, in that moment of silence, you can do a sort of expedition with your mind through your body and look for pockets of tension where you feel them. And you can do incremental release throughout your body. For example, I'm sitting here now and I'm thinking about my neck and the level of tension in my neck. And on my count, I'm going to release an incremental amount of tension, a tiny bit of tension in my neck. 3, 2, 1, release. Just by saying so, I was able to release an incremental amount of tension. Now that's tension I've been holding all day. Why didn't I do it till now? I forgot. We forget to do it. We forget how essential it is. Now I'm going to focus on my shoulders. The tension in my shoulders. 3, 2, 1, release. Where am I holding tension in my back? 3, 2, 1, an incremental release, tiniest bit. Again, gently coaxing the body into a state of deep physical and mental calm. The chest. What level of tension am I holding in my chest? 3, 2, 1, release. The pelvis. 3, 2, 1, release. The feet. 3, 2, 1, release. The face. 3, 2, 1, release. And when I say incremental release, I mean just enough release to notice a difference. Again, this is all about building an awareness of the contrast between contraction and expansion, so that you can lightly apply that release throughout your body with very little effort, no effort. It's just a mental decision. For example, I'm now going to think about the back of my head. I'm going to take a moment to be as fully aware as I can of whatever tension I'm holding in the back of my head. And on my count, I'm going to incrementally release the smallest amount of tension in that area. 3, 2, 1, release. Deep breath. This live stream, this process, is where I bring myself and hopefully help you come to a place where you can be completely still, silent, quiet, with a clear mind and a relaxed body. and stay in that space as long as you like. It serves two purposes. First of all, it's relaxing and it's healthy for you. And secondly, the more time you spend in that space, the more you reinforce the idea that you have this space available to you throughout the course of your day and life. It's a place you can take yourself as needed. You're building muscle memory, you're building sensation memory, so that tomorrow, when you're feeling perhaps tense or wound up, and you don't know what to do about it, you have a recollection, you have a memory of having spent time in a place that you brought yourself to, very simply, that allowed you to be calm and centered and satisfied and at peace. So stay in that space as long as you like. That's the whole goal of this. The whole goal of scanning is to bring you to a calm, centered place in mind and body. And the way we get there is through the process of incremental muscular release. It's like taking a little tiny hammer and tapping away at a big boulder. Just tap away. And it won't happen quick necessarily, but eventually you will begin to loosen and break apart that solid, contracted rock. That's all we're doing. Sitting in stillness, experiencing our own self, our own sense of just being. Deep breath. So, let's do it again, starting from the top for anyone who happened to come in a little late. Sqanning, as I call it, S-Q-A-N-N-I-N-G, as it relates to the word scan, scanning the body, and what we're going to be scanning the body for is tension. Sqanning, S-Q-A-N-N-I-N-G, is the process of incrementally releasing the muscles, the muscular portions of your body, incrementally, in order to achieve a deep state of physical and mental calm. And you can practice for a minute, or you can practice for 5 minutes, or a half an hour. Doesn't matter. If we're on a treadmill, and this is life, and this is moving towards contraction and tension, all we need to do is slow that wheel down, maybe stop it, if we're lucky, reverse it, and take ourselves all the way back to a still, silent, relaxed, calm place. That's all this process does. Clasping the hands together, 3, 2, 1, release. Let that sense of release pass through your body. Take a deep breath. Now 30 seconds, just observe the sensation of release. And wherever you find a pocket of tension, do your own incremental release in whatever that area may be. Now, I sometimes have to apologize because what happens to me is just like I hope is happening to you, is I forget why I'm here, what I'm supposed to be doing. As I tune into myself and begin to experience myself fully, any sense of obligation begins to fade away. Any sense of having to do anything or be anywhere begins to disappear. Any sense of time begins to disappear. As you drop expectations and demands and just enter a state of being, all of those things are de-emphasized. They become less important, and that's what you're trying to do. Whatever your worries, whatever your concerns, whatever muscular tension you're holding on to as a means to prepare you for something, you can let all those go, and you can just be. Just be. And that's, again, what I call home. You start at home when you're born. Then you begin to run the bases, and you make that effort, and you're running as fast as you can, and you're building up tension, but you're just trying to get home again. And once you get home, you're home. There's nothing else you have to do. After a runner crosses home base, he's done momentarily. He goes and sits down. He's done it. So once you get to this place, stay there as long as you like. Because, again, what we're doing is we're building a consciousness, we're reintroducing, we're reinforcing the sense of release. We're reminding ourselves of the value of doing nothing, of letting go, of expanding, so that we can incorporate that more into our lives to achieve a sense of balance. We're always going to make effort. We're always going to exert ourselves. That's just part of surviving in life. But you need to find those opportunities to take your foot off the gas and just be. It's healthier. You'll be happier. You'll be more fulfilled, and you'll be back to your true self. And it will give you a sense of confidence, because you'll come to understand more deeply how you don't need to do anything to exist in this world. It's all right here. And so when you enter any given situation, you're bringing yourself with you. You're back in touch with yourself. So we'll do this 3 more times, and then we'll call it a night. Gently clasp the hands together. Again, it's called Sqanning, the incremental release of muscular tension for the purpose of achieving a deep state of physical and mental calm. Grasp the hands, and on my count, 3, 2, 1, release. Let that sense of release pass through your body. Take a deep breath. Transfer even more tension out on the exhale. And now sit for 30 seconds in complete stillness and quiet, and experience what it is to just be. And let your body go there. Deep breath. And again, gently clasping the hands together, paying very close attention, raising your consciousness of what it feels like to contract. Again, in life, we're either contracting or expanding. We spend a lot of time contracting. This technique is designed to raise your consciousness of the opposite force in life: expansion, release, relax. So clasping the hands, paying attention to what that feels like. On my count, completely releasing that tension, paying very close attention to what that feels like to move into a state of release, and let that sense of release pass through your entire body. Clenching, and 3, 2, 1, here we go, release. Deep breath. Step 3, still, quiet observation of what that feels like. 30 seconds. Deep breath. Again, 90% of the technique is paying attention to these changes that happen in your body as you incrementally release the tension. And I encourage you, as you move deeper into a state of relaxation, to explore with your mind, with your senses, other areas where you feel tension, and on your count, your own count, incrementally release the tension in that area. For example, think about your neck. Register how much tension is your neck. Again, this technique is all about awareness. Become very aware of where your neck, how your neck is feeling. On your count, 3, 2, 1, release the tiniest amount of tension from your neck. And notice how that literally releases an explosion of energy, because as we're contracted, we're holding on. We're holding on to our air, we're holding on to our blood, we're holding on to the energy, we're keeping it from, it's like as if you've tied a rope around your chest and then you're trying to run a marathon. It's that much harder to breathe. So as you release this tension, allow it to happen, allow the blood to flow freely, allow yourself to breathe. Let the body go into that place of release. It wants to go there. You just have to give it permission. Incrementally. Last time. Gently squeezing the hands together. 3, 2, 1. Really feel that and release. Let that sense of release pass through your entire body. Deep breath. Exhale. Still, quiet observation. How does that feel? To do nothing, to just be. Deep breath. And that's it for today. Again, it's called Sqanning, Sqanning. It is the process of incremental muscular release for the purpose of inducing a deep state of physical and mental calm. My theory being, if you can relax the body, the mind will follow. And generally speaking, I find that when I've gone through this process, however little or much I do it, I've stopped worrying or thinking about things. And you need that mental break. The brain is a muscle like all the others in the body. You need to relax it. So I do this technique a few times a day. I do it here, live streaming. Try to a few times a day, typically around 11, 4, 8, somewhere in that area. You're welcome to join me as often as you like or not. If you've learned enough, go on your way, and God bless. I hope it helps you. And just remember that all we're doing here is reacquainting the body with the sensations of release. We tend to forget. So all we're doing is bringing that back into our world as a reference point, as a tool, as in its purest sense, a way to just relax and let go of tension, to breathe easier, to have our blood flow more freely, to calm our minds. That's all we're doing. You have the power within you already. You always have. Nothing I'm saying is anything you don't already know. To relax. You have it in you. It's a choice. It's a decision. And my suggestion is that it will be an easier process if you enter the process incrementally, gradually, slowly, and pay very close attention to the changes in your body and the experiences that you have while practicing this technique. And that's it. So I will typically repost each session on Facebook. It'll be up for a while, and then I'll take it down when I do the next session. But all sessions will be transferred over to my Facebook Sqanning page, Sqanning, and also onto YouTube. There's a Sqanning channel there, Sqanning. So you can look those up, and you can use those sessions as often as you like. It's always going to be free, and it's just there for your enjoyment if you so find it interesting for you. Thanks a lot. Have a great evening. Stay safe out there. Remember to breathe. Remember to take moments for yourself, and have a good night. Bye.